Okay, it's time for another weirdest team in the NBA thing. Last offseason was the Hornets. They're looking a little different going into this new season. I think now it's the Bulls. And this is not to say the Bulls are going to be bad. I could see them being about a 500 team again. I like most of the players on the team. And they ended up, 5th in defensive rating last season? So, I mean, there's certainly some things to like, but as we all know, ever since Lonzo went down, it's just sucked the energy out of this team so much because, I mean, his three-point shooting, which they're in desperate need of, I'm going to talk about that a lot in this one. His connectivity as a passer, the on-ball defense being terrifying with Caruso. We all get that stuff. But to talk about their defense for a bit, look, obviously Caruso, he was all defense last season, well-deserving. And pretty much whenever Caruso and Patrick Williams were out there together, the Bulls' defensive rating was always very good. You know, when they got Patrick Beverley at the tail end of the season, he was also huge for their defense. And of course, Javon Carter, also a damn good on-ball defender. They added him. Patrick Beverley's in Philly now. And Torrey Craig is cool as well. So I would like to think that this defense can be good next season as well. But the real weirdness with this team comes from the offense. Of course, LaVine, DeMar, and Vooch are all talented, and on any given night, LaVine or DeRozan can make every contested jumper they attempt. But look, those three together last season, they had an offensive rating of about 111, which is equivalent to like the 27th best offense in the league. And that's not too far off from their overall offensive rating, which was also like 25th overall or whatever. My vibe from watching their offense last year was like, well, okay, here's another play where Vooch is screening for LaVine or DeRozan. Which, to be fair, sounds a little mean because you could do that for basically every team in the league, but it felt like it was a little more with them than your average team. And pretty much, man, I mean, you want to dive into the numbers, the Bulls' offense is just a little stuck in the past, pretty much. You just look at last season, they were the only team in the league that attempted less than 30 three-pointers. They also were towards the bottom of the league in free throw attempts, and also they attempted the most mid-range shots in the league. And so when you put all that together, the only way you're going to have an efficient offense is if your percentages are just insane. And, I mean, look, DeRozan is, of course, awesome for mid-range. He also draws a lot of fouls on his pump fakes and stuff, so I don't want this to sound like some sort of like this is DeRozan's fault. I think DeRozan is doing his thing, and he's very good at it. I think more so what this is that this team just doesn't have a lot of dudes who take threes like that. I mean, look, LaVine got up to about 7 threes a game last season. Some of that's going to be contested stuff, or it's going to be like out of ISOs or pull-up threes. And okay, LaVine, he's a very good scorer. You got Vooch with the pick and pops, whether they're from 2 or from 3. He got up to about 5 threes a game. Okay, cool. And Kobe White's had a little bit of juice with his 3-ball throughout his career. He's never, took off, but he's been fine. But besides that, we had an offense that just wasn't taking enough shots from outside. I mean, we've all been waiting for Patrick Williams to finally be his version of like a gunslinger from out there, and whether that's aggressiveness on his end, encouragement from the team overall, I don't know, but the percentages have been good. It's just a matter of, can he handle more and will he take more? We'll hope. This, of course, again, one of the many reasons why the loss of Lonzo was just huge. I mean, he got to 40% from 3 on 7 attempts a game before he went down. Also, it should be said, Ayo's second year was a little awkward compared to his first one, where his shooting stuff was down. I still like Ayo, and I do remember stretches of his rookie season where he would just have huge assist games, and they were giving him responsibility as a ball handler. He was getting downhill. It was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So anyway, as we now look on to this next season, well, to be fair, the roster is not that much different. I mean, I mentioned Javon Carter and Torrey Craig earlier in the video. They should be good on defense. Offensively, it's sure, if you look at Javon Carter last year, 4 3-pointers a game, 40%. He also has a little bit of juice as a pull-up guy. It's not a super lot, but he's got a little bit there. He's not just a catch-and-shoot guy. I think it's a step in the right direction. And Torrey Craig, Torrey Craig's cool. So yeah, this is where we are. The other thing with this team too, and another reason why they're kind of weird for me, is just thinking about their future. So, they gave Vooch the contract this offseason, which I think was a good deal. I know there were some Bulls fans who were basically kind of melancholy about it, because I know what the vibe has been with this team past couple years, 500 team, once Lonzo went down, all that stuff. But I think it was a good contract, and I think it was the best decision they had, because you couldn't just let Vooch walk for nothing, loss of the asset, all that stuff, right? Well, if we can move on to DeRozan, he's got a 1-year deal on his contract, and I also feel like the best option there might be to just extend him for, I don't know, some kind of shorter contract. I mean, look, if you want to let a guy walk, you can, but then you're just worse and you got nothing for it. And as far as, would they trade DeRozan? I mean, he's on a 1-year contract, man, and of course with his age, DeRozan's still very good, no doubt. So I don't know, my gut feeling is you could get something for him, but it's not going to be everything you truly want for him. Now, there is, I guess, the possibility of a sign and trade, but you'd have to go through a whole nother season first, and then we would do that next offseason. The other thing, too, is their draft pick situation, where, they do have their pick this upcoming season, so, okay, that's cool. But then in 2025, if we have basically this same team again, then that year they're probably not going to have their pick because, well, they only keep it if they finish top 10 in the lottery. So I don't know. They're in a tough spot because I think you keep going down the path you're on, and there's a chance that just because of the Lonzo injury, you're just kind of a 500 team. And we can hope for Patrick Williams' development on offense. Defensively, he's already very good. You could dream about the pick that they're going to have after this upcoming season if you really want to. Or you can look at it the other way, which I think a decent amount of Bulls fans wanted, which was, major shake up the whole thing. Well, it's one of two things to me. Number one is either this front office just believes in this team and they don't want to do a major shakeup. They just want to kind of build it up on the margins, all that stuff. Or there's just not really anything that great out there to where even if they wanted to make moves, the return just might not be that good. So I don't know. Also, Andre Drummond's here.